dun 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 dun. Welcome. Whoop, wrong camera. There we go. Welcome back to another Getting Projects Done with me. And we are taking the small, tiniest of breaks from the beastie of the Cruel Boys, the Scum Direct. We are going to get back to another project that has been sitting on my desk, and I was like, my God, man, I really need to get this model sorted, and so I am going to finish off my Wilderkin elf here. I have pictures of the gnome on Fox and the Stoneborn on my Instagrams, and so if you're curious about how, what kind of levels I'm painting to, I'm painting them to a pretty decent tabletop. It's not like display quality or anything like that. It's just simply, making them look pretty. And so here, you can see I have my little Wilderkin, and I'm just basically going to finish this model off. There's really not a whole lot to do, I suppose. I think. It's really just kind of finishing off her boots, her base. Maybe pick out some details. I don't even remember what color I used on the body. Something tells me it's like a combination of Sotek green and adding white to it. That's where my brain wants to go. But I don't know if that's entirely correct. I just don't know. But either way, that's what we're working on. I want to get this figure finished so I can add it to the rest of my gang. I also have, she has like two little rocks. They're part of her psychic powers in the game, or her magical powers, what have you. So, I don't know if I'll get started on those today, but yeah. If there's time. If there is time. So, where do I want to get this started? I suppose getting the boots down right? What color should the boots be? I don't know. Sophie, wow, hey y'all, hey Chris, hey, what's happening? Yeah, I'm working on some RelicBlade. I'm toying with the idea of more of a light leather, like buckskin, for the boots. I think it would tie in nicely with like kind of the light tones I have going on with her flesh. And yeah. Plus too, I also have a bit of, this whole, like elves here feel kind of very, I don't want to say Native American, but kind of a similar vibe. Now, to do buckskin. Ooh, what could we use to start off with some buckskin? We could start off with some, I don't know. Oh, what do I got? Bestigor flesh? Tau light ochre, yes, that's it. Tau light ochre. Needs a mix, as you can see. So we're going to give this a quick little mix on the old mixeroo. But Tau light ochre, I think that's the color I'm going to use. If I hate it, I can always, change it and do something else with it and cover over it, whatever it is. But yeah. At least that's the plan anyway. I think. There we go. It's all mixerooed. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't change my audio. There we go. Just in case anybody on the Discord feels like joining me, I usually leave that open. There we go. Blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Time for some painting. We are painting buckskin. Yeah. Don't really think I need that much. Where are we going to put it? Yeah, right around here. So Tau Light Ochre is what I'm using. I think I'll go about it in the most normal of fashions, in which I'll basically just base coat it and then probably hit it with some shade. Maybe. Just maybe. We see this okay? Yeah, we can see it okay. I really enjoy these sculpts from these figures. They're really nice. I like the vibe of them. Not to hit any other pre-painted areas. Trying really, really hard not to hit any. Yeah. Now it seems really, really yellowy and saturated with color. That'll change obviously once we shade it and all. But yeah. Sorry, I'm just having a look at the details here, and I was second guessing myself here for a second because I thought maybe the detail was the same as the legging, but it doesn't have that same vibe going on. It feels more like a legging or like a boot. A boot. Oh, it feels more like a boot. Okay. Yeah, it's got creases down the sides of it, seams. If you hear a slight rumbling sound in the background, that's because I have a dryer running for drying. I also have little fluffies on this figure because it sat on my shelf. Where's something to just quickly dust it? There we go. I'm just going to use this large dry brush just to knock some of these little cobwebbies off that are on the figure. I know, bad Chris, letting the dust collect on the figure. A rolling stone gathers no moss. I'm just trying to get a vibe for how that feels at the moment. I am mostly okay with it for the moment. I think a very light buckskin vibe is what we'll aim for here. Would be tempting to decorate the boots. Such is the fashion. Yeah, I'm digging it. It's going to go pretty light. It's probably going to go similar to the value of her flesh in overall brightness. Sophie. Blusher brush are perfect for dusting off minis. Yes. Yeah, because they have a very nice, soft hair to them. Now, makeup brushes. I have been curious about some of this. What sort of hair is it? Are they natural hairs? I'm sure that they have natural brushes as well as synthetic. But what is the hair? Like, where does it come from? The natural brushes. Are they, are they like sable? Or is it like, another animal? Is it squirrel hair? Is it... Because I, honestly, do not know. I've never really paid attention to it. I know plenty of people have used makeup brushes in the past to achieve, effects and such. And I'm just curious, like, what sort of, I don't know, what, follicle, I guess? What sort of hair is it? Is really the question. I am going to add, actually I'm going to add a little bit more towel. But yeah, I'm kind of curious as to, like, are they mink? Are they sable? Are they squirrel? Horse? I don't think horse, because horse is pretty thick hair. You get like, like in oil painting, you get hog hair, and you get all sorts of different hairs involved. Oil painting, it makes sense because, well, oil paint tends to be very, very thick, and so you want something that's going to be, fairly strong to move the paint around. Let's throw a little bit more into the palette here. I think I should have mixed it a little bit more. I think I should have. I'll give it another little couple seconds here. You know what? Maybe I'll try it upside down. Sophie, not sure. Could be horsehair or synthetic. Yeah. Well, because a lot of makeup brushes, or any of the ones that I've ever seen, they have very, very soft hairs. And they remind me more of, like, a mink hair or a sable, which is essentially the same thing, but we're talking very specific, of course. And I'm sure some of the lower end brushes are probably synthetic, more something along the line of like Taklon or something. I was just curious because, they tend to have a very, very soft feeling to them. They're very, very soft. Yeah. All right. Oh, I was going to add a little drop of medium. Just a little drop. Just a drop. There we go. Give that a little mixy-boo. Make it all nice and smooth and creamy. Yeah, there we go. Oh, excuse me. I'm burping. How rude of me. Anyway. All right. I'm going to throw down a few more layers. Get this nice and solid before we start shading this. Start throwing the shadows. Ooh, the shadows. We are moving in the shadows. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, you guys can kind of see. Yeah, you can kind of see. You don't need to see the whole thing, though. You don't need to see every step I'm taking, do you? Yeah, maybe you do. Oops. Oops. Hit a spot. If we're fast, yeah, there we go. If you're fast and you make a boo-boo, and especially when you're working with the paint in a fairly thinned out consistency, if you end up bumping any other areas, you can quickly wash your brush off, and as long as it's still damp, you should be able to just pull that color right off. As long as you're working thin. If you're working with a really thick paint and you try and do that, you end up just kind of really just thinning the paint down, and you're working kind of like a glaze, and you just end up, you know, moving paint about, and it's annoying. It's annoying. SL Longberry. Given the size of makeup brushes, a saber brush would cost a fortune. Well, I'm pretty sure people pay a pretty penny for makeup brushes. I know that there's, you know, like varying costs, just like artist brushes do. But yeah, like the really good ones. I'm trying to think. Man, I wish my daughter was here at the moment. She could tell me all about it, because she spends money on stuff, and I have toyed with the idea of, you know, commandeering her makeup brushes and such, just, you know, for farting around with and trying stuff out. Because I know I've seen one person on, I think it was like Instagram or something, and it was someone who basically had used the little the eyeshadow and stuff, you know, the makeup that comes in the little blocks on a palette. It looks like a watercolor you know, palette thing, and using that, and they were using like the glittery stuff to go for like this really magical effect on a Demon of Zinch wings, and it looked really, really good, and it was basically just dry brushed onto the figure, but it left like such a nice effect. It was you know, it almost looked like, oh crap, I hit the model again. It almost looked like color shift paints were used, but it wasn't. It was, you know, just eyeshadow, and it was really, really cool. And you know, it was just interesting. It was interesting, and I was like, yeah, you know. And of course, it's further proof that, you know, to be really good at miniature painting does not require you to spend hilarious amounts of money on, you know, paints that are labeled miniature paints, right? You can use whatever paints to achieve your goal. As long as you have a vision in mind, and a will to see your vision forward, you can do it. You can do it. You know, I've seen plenty of people use the dollar store, you know, dollar craft paints to good effect. And, you know, I've been meaning to do a demonstration just using regular old crappy paints and paint a figure in crappy paints, just to demonstrate to people that it's not about, you know, it's not about the paints when we're, you know, it's all it is a friggin' marketing ploy to, you know, convince you that no, you need these kinds of paints. No, you don't. No, you don't. All you need is the will. That's what you need. You need the will. Sophie. Doesn't say on any of mine. They're plain black, irrelevant white handles. Makeup ain't cheap. No, it ain't. I know that. I'm not a connoisseur of makeup. My daughter tells me all these things, and she's like, yeah, this is like for priming, and this is the foundation, and this is this. And I was like, holy camoly, I mean, we can do the same stuff with my paints downstairs. honey, we can do it. But yeah, more and more as I build up the color on these boots, I'm liking it. I'm trying to avoid, you know, decorating them or putting, some symbology onto them or anything like that. I think I just want to just go with a straight leather buckskin kind of look to her boots. But yeah. So, I mean, like, they look really kind of, ochre right now, but they're going to go a little bit brighter, kind of like her skin. Not as bright as her skin, because I don't want to pull away from that. I still want the focus to be her face and, the head and, and of course I also don't want to incorporate too many colors into the overall look of the model, because then it feels a mess, right? I want the orange of her hair, because on camera, her hair looks really, really orange. To the eye, it's got a little bit desaturation and a little bit of brown, and yeah. And so with the boots, I also want them to have, push towards the brown, but also come up. But I don't want them to be as saturated as the skin. The skin is quite saturated. I'm going to switch brushes though, because I need to get into some of these little nooks and crannies. And this is one of my favorite brushes. I do lots of like glazing with this brush. I also do like eyeballs and other fine lines and stuff like that with this brush. So this brush, and this brush, the number one artist opus, and this old heavy metal standard brush are what I use for most of my painting. Like, I would say like 90% of my painting. Sophie, if she's anything like me, it's, oh, Dad, can you get me lipstick? Oh, and a nail polish? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I don't go with her to, any kind of shopping or anything like that, because, yeah, she'll convince me to get something. I mean, she has her own money and everything like that, but she is not shy about spending her dad's money. She's not shy about that. She's okay with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm feeling this right now. I know I say that a lot, but yeah. I just want to make sure this is going on nice and smooth. Not that it really matters, again, because like I'm not painting this to a super high standard. The goal isn't to, enter a freaking golden demon or anything with this thing. But I do want it to look nice in pictures, and if I ever film a game or anything like that, I'd like to be able to, do like a little showcase with them. I backed the Kickstarter for the current iteration of the rules and all that. Wait, who's that joining me? Oh, it's Mr. Hale. Mr. Boop. Mr. Boop.
Yep.
What's happening?
I went out of work today at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And just been lounging around at home. One of these days it's really shitty outside. Sloth movements around the house. It's just like, stuff.
Not really feeling motivated for anything?
Nah, it's just really shitty outside. Gale force winds, a lot of rain.
Yeah, we got rain here too.
And just on the internet.
The interwebs?
Yeah, occasionally playing a game. That's about it.
What sort of games do you like to play? I try and say that without doing the jigsaw voice. I want to play a game.
Want to play a game? I play a variety.
Like bingo?
No, like a variety. Well, I mean, I play games like bingo. I play, those video games where it's literally just a board game?
Yep.
AKA like Talisman. Yeah, I'll play Talisman.
Yeah, Talisman's good fun.
Stalker.
I play Stalker. War. Oh, wait. You mean the game?
Meant the game.
Oh, not actual stalking.
Not actual stalking.
Oh.
You're not stalking that, weird perverts do, the stalking where you enter the zone, and the crazy mutants, scouring.
Oh, right.
Noble.
Yeah. It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Fallout.
I know what you're talking about. I used to play video games. I don't really play video games this much these days, though. Not that I, don't want or anything like that. Just, I don't know. Just don't. I've been watching my son play a lot of Insurgency, Sandstorm. That's really cool.
Mm.
I like that game, how it flows, as it's kind of like Counter-Strike. It flows, it has that similar kind of vibe, and like you get smoked really, really fast. So like, couple bullets hit you and you're out. I was a big fan of the first Insurgency. I have that as well. The first one. It's good.
Me and my friends like to call Insurgency Indurpency.
Indurpency? Why is that?
It's just like the things that happened in the game.
Well, you need to act like a squad in that game. You have to work as a team.
So
you can't. It's not like Call of Duty where you can just run and gun, right?
I played Insurgency, play Squad occasionally, play Arma occasionally. They're all kind of like in the same realm. Arma taking it to the real extreme where you can, have multiple. You can get to like company sides, and I'll play real RTSs like
Real RTS. What's
and I'll play RTSs like Dawn of War, Custody Heroes, Total War, Fallout series, XCOM like games.
Are you looking forward to that Chaos Gate?
Yeah, I'm liking it because it looks like it's sticking with the original Chaos Gate formula.
Yeah, which was just XCOM.
Yeah, just with updated graphics over the previous Chaos Gate.
Yeah.
I like Darkest Dungeon. I'll play side scrollers like Contra, MMOs. Not really playing any at the moment, but Mech Warrior Online, I guess. But Foxhole, I guess, counts in that too. That's like a top-down World War I themed shooter where you have two fictional countries fighting over a big map with multiple little zones you can spawn in. And everything in that game, the whole war effort, is built by players. So every tank, every rifle, every uniform you have was built by another player.
Oh, that's cool.
The Aliens franchise.
Yeah, Fireteam is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a whole variety of stuff. It's just kind of like I'll open up Steam or my PlayStation or whatever I'm playing on, and just kind of like, what do I feel like playing today?
Right.
Like, I even play Rock of Ages, and all you're really doing is guiding the rock. It's a marble game. You're guiding the rock down the ramp, trying to smash stuff.
The Rock, like Dwayne Johnson?
No, Rock of Ages. It's like literally like a boulder.
Oh.
And it has like music playing in the background. They're all like themed, and it's almost like a time traveling rock because you start in like the Bronze Age with ancient Greece, and you're kind of like rolling around, smashing stuff there. Then you move into like the Middle Ages, and it's a downhill racing game, I guess. If you're familiar with like Super Monkey Ball.
Yep. It's
kind of like that. Except you're not a monkey in a ball, you are a giant rock with a funny face on it.
As rocks tend to do. At least all the rocks I've ever encountered.
They updated one of the, they had a new update recently. Or, well, not recently. Their last, major update was the Hot Potato update, where you could change your rock to a potato.
That's funny.
dungeon. Broforce. Broforce is a funny little meme game. But,
yeah, it sounds like it. Name like that.
Like,
Broforce.
It's like a
It's like, bro.
it's a side-scrolling like shoot 'em up with like total destruction of like the zones you're in. But it's that all the characters are like 80s, 90s action heroes. Like there's Bromando, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Commando. There's Rambro, but you don't know what that one is.
Oh no, that's a challenge.
Of course, I guess like Call of Duty. But
that's a stumper for sure.
Bro.
Command Bro.
It's Bromando.
Or Bromando, excuse me.
Yeah, get it right.
Get it right, you friggin' nerd.
And the Predator, which is like the Predator and Terminator.
Oh, yeah, they're just running that bro theme right into the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's like a meme kind of game. It was, you know, like super American, like fight terrorists, and it's actually Satan. So you have to kill Satan.
Of course.
And the president in that game is a super beefy, not Bill Clinton. But here's one. Okay, I'll throw a curveball at you. Okay, Tank Bro. Who's that?
Tank Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No revoking my nerd card today.
Shit.
You thought you had me, eh?
Yeah. Well, no, because it was either like you got it or you didn't. They had an Expendables update where they added all the expendable characters. I mean, they even have things like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. They have Blade. He's Brode.
Man.
Judge Dredd in there.
Is he Judge Bro?
I don't remember his name in the roster. That was a hard one to remember. Could look it up. It was probably like Judge Bro or something. Yeah, Bro Dread or I don't know. Everything was Bro. There's Brolander, the Highlander. There's the Professional.
Yeah, they're killing me with these names.
And the icon for the game on the main menu is a bald eagle flexing some, big guns with American flags as the wings.
Jeez.
It's a fun little game because it's very parody-like, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that sounds like parody. If it's making fun of action tropes and stuff.
Yeah. They have the Brode, which is the bride from Kill Bill.
S. Longberry. What do you use for a painting handle / miniature holder? I haven't seen anything like it before. This is my own design. This is, if you go to wayofthebrush.com and you scroll down to for sale, it's the Steady Hand Brush TM. That's what I use for all my holding needs. But yeah.
Are you sure it was a TM trademark?
Yeah, there's a TM on the end. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, list of bros. Here we go. Bro Dread.
Bro Dread? That sounds lazy.
Yeah. There's BA Broracus.
B.A. Baracus, yeah. Of course.
Brohard. McBrover. Bro in Black. Snake Broskin.
That's kind of funny.
Somebody used to make a 3D printed Snake Plissken, like that was like Warhammer size.
I think there is.
No, it's a thing. I don't know if it's like still a thing, like you can readily find it, or
Yeah.
but it was definitely a thing.
Yeah. Somebody made one, I know that. Because there was a guy who lived not too far from me, who was doing Rick and Morty sculpts. But I think he got shut down. And yeah, I wanted to get like a whole bunch of Mr. Meeseeks.
I'm not sure if this guy got shut down or if it's just kind of like one of those things where he did it for a couple years, and like with some projects, like some people make minis for a little bit and they're like, I had my fun, and then just kind of like move on.
Yeah. Well, it's not an easy thing to get minis made. And even as a sculptor and what have you.
Even if you were just sculpting 3D printed, because you gotta sit there and sculpt, and then, you know, if you're running a storefront, you know, there comes all that paperwork and shit that you have to do every year. Taxes.
Yeah.
One of the three certainties in life is life, death, and taxes.
Kim, hey, a bit late, but I'm here. Welcome, Kim. Longberry, thanks. Yeah, no problem, dude. Now, mind you, I have not restocked these things, so they are to be announced soon enough. But yeah, this is pretty much what I use all the time, is these little painting handles. I like them. They're good enough for whatever. I just use like simple sticky tack, you know, adhere, bang, you know, big enough to hold even like a monster-sized base, you know, knurled grip for comfort. And they have a little bit of weight to them, so, you know, especially even like this is a pewter model, and like I can't even tell that there's a model on this thing, but yeah. Sophie, what was the creature? Is it like a Star Wars Tauntaun? However, it's spelt is looking good. What was the creature? Is it like a Star Wars Tauntaun? However, it's spelt like it's looking good. I don't know. A question here in the chat.
Oh, I think they see the
monster here?
Yeah, they see the feet of it, I think.
Oh, this is the Scumdrek from Age of Sigmar. I've been painting this on this live stream, if this is what you're talking about, Sophie. But yeah, I was working on the skin yesterday. I'm just taking a break from it because it's quite a bit of skin, and you know, and I was looking at my desk and my to-do pile, and I still have quite a bit of crap on my desk, and this character is one that I want to get off my desk. So I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm going to get it done. That's the goal today.
But for the game, they stopped doing major updates in 2016. Broly was the last character. The best character.
Broly?
Yeah. Broly. Bruce Lee.
Oh, I get jokes.
But the Terminator character, Brominator, is based off the Terminator 2 Terminator. So he has the leather jacket and stuff and the shades, but he also has a minigun.
Yeah.
And the minigun, if you jump and shoot it, will propel you backwards. So you could launch yourself across like the map by jumping up, looking behind you, and then shooting. You could propel yourself across the map.
That's funny.
It's a fun little like not serious game, and I tend to like not serious games a lot more than I like my serious games, but
right.
I have a lot more fun with the I guess you could say the me games.
Yeah, well, it's a game, right? Games are supposed to be fun. It's just like painting miniatures. It's supposed to be fun, you know.
Is it fun, Chris? Are you having fun, Chris?
I am having fun.
Are you like, I gotta press that go live button?
I'm having so much fun. It's gonna take fucking plastic surgery to remove the smile from my face. Kim, what's the model you work painting? I am working on. She's a little elf from RelicBlade. Small little indie game by Metal King Studio.
I've played demos. I still have to buy more battle pigs to have my full, little skirmish force.
Yeah.
Played demos. Fun game.
Yeah.
If you're not playing battle pigs, you're playing it wrong. And yeah.
If you're not.
A close second is the Skelly Bros, but yeah, if you're not playing battle pigs, you rethink your life.
You're just doing it wrong.
You're just doing it wrong.
Right now, all I'm using is a little bit of snakebite leather, thinned out, and just laying some shadow down before I start building up some highlights here. As we typically do.
I'd probably be a more popular person in the hobby circles I'm in if I didn't do shit like that, where it's like, if you're not playing this faction, I mean, I say it ironically, but I'm sure it's annoying for some people. Like, somebody made for Orma Horde, somebody printed or made a meme of the map where they crossed out all the names except for Khador and just changed all the names to like East Khador, South Khador, Desert Khador, Scary Khador. Yeah. That definitely hasn't circled my Privateer Press like local group.
Oh no.
Quite a few times. Did you see that for Warhammer Day? They're giving you 2 weeks of Warhammer Plus if you use the Warhammer Day code. It's not free. It's not a free trial. It's you still have to sub, but then they knock your price off. They discount your price for 2 weeks.
That's all right.
Because some people thought it was a trial, so I just reminded people that you still have to pay. It's just, if you're paying for a month, you end up just paying for 2 weeks instead of all 4.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, for me, the Warhammer Plus thing, that was like, for me, it was a no-brainer. I was in regardless.
I would say it's a no-brainer, but guess what, Chris? We're on how many weeks of having Warhammer Plus? Well, about a month. Say about a month. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and guess what?
Still haven't done it?
Nope.
Really?
I might when that code goes live tomorrow, but I don't know. I haven't had time. 'Cause I'm trying to catch up on like other streaming apps.
That's like saying I'll catch up on sleep. No such thing.
No, because if you missed it, you've already missed it. You're never going to catch up. You've already lost it.
Yep. There's no such thing as catching up on sleep. All right. Let's add Ushabti Bone to our, color. What is this? Cow ochre? I couldn't even remember what the hell color I was working with. Kim, closing up on being finished with my Orc Boss Rider. Cool. Got the leather bits and the metal highlights to do, and a few bits and ends. Cool.
Can go and get myself in a little bit of trouble and buy some more minis. I'm probably never going to get around to paint, but...
Why not? Why would you do that?
Everybody does it.
Sure. All right, we're going to start off with, I don't know, probably more like a 1-to-1. Yeah, we'll do 1-to-1.
Spanish company that does like samurai miniatures and like feudal Japan miniatures, and like they have like some fantasy-esque. They have like 2 versions of their game. They have the historical and like the fantasy-esque version, where they introduce like undead and onis and
some unis.
Onis, like the Japanese ogres, red with horns.
Yeah, I know what they are.
Okay.
I was deliberately mispronouncing the word.
Oh, because they came out with a sports game I backed, and it should be delivered in the next month or so, called Tekir. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't speak Japanese, but it is imagine Blood Bowl or what's another, or like Guild Ball, okay? So it's like a sports game like that. It's not like the Gladiator sports game. It's like a proper sports game, but rugby.
Okay. I'm imagining it.
Throw it in a cyberpunk universe.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I was like, because I actually enjoy watching rugby. I don't get to watch it too often. And I was like, ooh, a miniatures game about rugby.
You're in?
Yeah. I played for a very limited time in college. A very limited time. It was a club sport, and I showed up for practice like 2-3 times before I decided waking up at 5 in the morning was not for me. Because that is the time they were allowed to use the field when the other like official sports. Because you have in college, for those who, I don't know how it is in other countries, but in the U.S. in college, there's 2 types of sports. There's collegiate sports, which is the school-sponsored sport, and then there's club sports. The school might throw a little bit money at the club sports, but you are the low priority.
Right.
Because, your team typically doesn't have, like, the school's name attached to it. You're not selling, like, school merchandise. So, the rugby team's practice was at 5 in the morning.
Sounds...
I don't like waking up at 4 in the morning to get to practice.
Yeah. Sounds kind of harsh.
That's the time they have, because my school's big thing was soccer. Well, was. Then they closed. Soccer, basketball, and baseball. And so they got priority, and then the other school sports, like, track, stuff like that, they then got next priority. And then club sports, club soccer then got priority because the soccer field wouldn't have to be changed. And then there was rugby. We had to be out there at the only time slot they had left, which was 5 in the morning. I was like, I like rugby. I like watching rugby. I don't like waking up at 4 in the morning. Especially when I had a weird schedule where I had very early morning classes, like 7, 8 o'clock. And I had a couple of hours, like in the middle of my day, open. And then I had evening classes. But I still enjoy watching rugby when I get to watch it on TV. I like sports in general. I'm one of the few people in this hobby that's like sports.
Yeah, it is kind of rare.
You know what's also rare? About to throw shade. Actually being a social person in this hobby, that requires social interaction.
True. That is also another rarity. At least it feels like, anyway.
Well, it feels like it when I walk into a game store, because you get, like, I mean, there's a few people who are, like, friends playing, but, like, then there's just kind of people sitting in the corner, waiting for a table and not saying anything. Or you get the total opposite spectrum, where it's the other kind of, like, antisocial people, where they're really rude, egotistical. You could say they're the hobby version of sticking their hand in the food pot.
Sophie, anyone got the black Oh, the Black Templar set that has come out. You mean that big box of Templar? I did not get it. Did you get it?
Chris, we've only talked about this like 3-4 times yet.
Did you?
I mean, not today, but no, I got the box. You don't remember me saying I got the box? I opened it up on stream, and I sat here and I was talking about it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. No, I'm joking.
I actually don't remember.
No, I don't fucking remember. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't remember.
He seems to remember anything. He's the only person in the server that remembers anything. He remembers everything. I've had the Black Templar. I have the Black Templar box.
And do you feel like it's a worthy purchase? Do you feel like you got your money's worth?
Considering I really like the artwork on the book and the box, because the the box you see on the website is just a sleeve.
Oh, really?
The actual
Okay.
box is inside that, and it's the 3rd edition rulebook art. That's the same as the special edition codex supplement in the box.
Oh, that's cool.
I am a sucker for art, especially the older 40K art.
Do you ever buy any of the Warhammer art?
I want to. I just don't have space on my wall because I have I have other comic things hanging up.
Get on that, man. I have a wish list going. I already have
a wish list. Don't get me wrong. I have an account on the website and I have things that I want in a wish list.
Yeah.
It's just buying it.
Well, because the first one I got was the 1st edition Space Hulk piece. Love that piece. And then I've got 2 Eldar pieces. The one that was the 3rd edition Codex cover and the 5th or 6th edition. The one with the Warlock and he's throwing lightning out. I picked up that one as well.
Alright, since we're bringing up
what are we bringing up?
Since we're bringing up the 3rd edition Eldar Codex, or Eldar Codex in general. But to answer Sophie's question, I have the Black Templar box, in case that wasn't, stated.
In case that wasn't clear?
Yeah. No, going back, how many monkey points would I get if
10.
the Jane Czar, if I converted the Jane Czar model, the current one, not the old metal one, because I'm not screwing with that. If I convert, how many monkey points would I get if I converted it to match that art in this, was it 2nd edition Codex? We were looking at the art yesterday.
Yeah. I do remember that.
How many monkey points would I get for that?
I just said 10.
Oh, 10. 10 on a sliding scale of...
I don't know, of 10. Does that make you feel better? Yeah, I mean, do it. Yeah. I think that'd be really cool. You would definitely earn my admiration for,
Now, would I paint it in the current scheme, the old scheme, or the old scheme?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Because I'd imagine the one in the 2nd edition art book would go along with when her armor was just black.
Yeah.
Because that is what her armor color was when that book was written.
Yeah. Hard to see.
But then it's that middle scheme where armor was not quite bone white, but it was this kind of off weird white, and then her boots were black.
Yeah. That's I think dealer's choice. I think at that point.
Yeah, the closest thing to these prints, these Warhammer prints I have up on my wall is the little. They're not really prints. They're those art pieces, the separators in box sets that are art pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like that flappy poster board or whatever.
Yeah, it's just a card.
Yeah, or card paper or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I put those up sometimes. I use the art that doesn't have the barcode on it, so it's typically the less cool art.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like it. I like, well, even beside me, like,
Do they come framed?
no, but they're on.
Okay.
They're on the. I go for the largest size on just a regular print, but you can also get them framed. You can also get them on canvas. You can get them even on aluminum, and that was another one I was toying with, was picking up the aluminum prints, because then you don't have to frame it, and it's solid as shit, right? Because it's printed on aluminum. I would assume.
Is there a way to filter? Oh yes, there is a filter. Xenos.
Yeah. The next one on my list is probably going to be the 2nd edition Eldar Codex, or the 4th edition. That's one of my favorite pieces.
The 4th one is the one with the
Autarch.
The Autarch standing in the middle, and he's got like the striking scorpions like up front.
Yeah, it's a lot of green and red on the cover.
Yeah. The Dire Avenger looks cool. It's actually unique because it's actually a female. Like, the armor is modeled to be a female Dire Avenger, whereas the plastic models are all modeled to be dudes.
I thought there was some Dire Avengers that were female.
There's Guardians that are.
Oh.
No, in the lore, yeah, there's female Dire Avengers.
Oh, there's tons.
The model-wise, they're all dudes. But then again, that's back when, the reason they're all dudes is because they use the same torso sculpt for all 5 dudes.
Yeah. No, because in
Same reason why all guardsmen were dudes, because 90% of that guardsman box, 90% of the heads, aside from like the 2 variant sergeant heads, all the heads were the same.
Yeah.
Just copy pasted over and over.
Yeah, because like for the lore of Eldar, their fighting forces are mostly women. It's a large portion of women in their forces.
Oh yeah, because in that part of the lore, like when the Guardians come out, like when they have to start using Guardians, like everybody's fighting at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dire situation when you have to bust out the Guardians. Because that just means the whole craft world's gone to war.
I might get the Jane Czar art. I was hoping there's like a classic one, but
no. I've tagged them in a few of the posts that they do on Twitter and stuff. I want them to do the original Rogue Trader. They have the original Rogue Trader cover, but it is the wrong proportions for that composition. That piece is actually more like letterbox sized, and there's more kind of empty space to the left of the pile of Marines as the original composition goes. And
what art are we talking about again?
The original Rogue Trader cover, with all the Crimson Fists in a pile.
Yeah.
I love that piece. It's great, and I just wish they would.
That's what's wrong with, in my opinion. That's what's wrong with the Black Templar Codex supplement. Is the art piece that they use? They have the art piece on there, but they don't have the full art piece. The full art piece is on the box that's inside the sleeve.
Right.
Because then you see everybody. Because you actually start seeing Black Templar with plasma cannons and white armor.
Right.
So I think that's how I'm going to paint my Black Templars. I mean, most of them are going to be the classic. I'm going to paint them the modern GW way or whatever. But I want to do like callback color schemes. I want to look at that art and like pick out maybe some characters or some units in that art piece and paint them as them. Because there are some guys that aren't, Black Temple, like black armor. So there's a few that are red. There's one in white that isn't an apothecary. He's holding a plasma cannon. I like the Rogue Trader work print too.
Yeah.
That one's got. Here's one here.
Sophie, I'm yelled to buy more single or small box of minis these days rather than starting a new army. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you already kind of collect Black Templars, yeah. But it doesn't seem like you get a whole lot in that box, right? You get like what, 2 units, a Dreadnought, and a couple characters.
You get 2 characters, the Dreadnought, and then the 10 Crusaders that can be made in 2 squads or 1 squad.
Right. It feels a little shy.
Somebody starting and they're like, I want Black Templars, would I recommend the box? No. If someone was like me and they started at either in 3rd or at the tail end of 3rd like I did, and they really liked that art piece, I would say yes. Most people, I would say the box isn't worth it. I mean, it's still technically a deal.
Yeah.
But it's not as big of a deal as a combat patrol is. I guess if that makes
sense. It does. Yeah.
Like how they have a specific tab for Space Marines and then one for Imperium.
Well, yeah.
Space Marines are special enough to get their own tab, and then all the other schmucks.
Yeah.
And then guess what? When you open the Imperium tab, guess what's in there? Space Marines, even though they have their own tab. That
is kind of funny, but not haha funny.
It's kind of like GW's telling you something, like Space Marines are only dudes that matter.
Yeah. Which is kind of hilarious.
Which is funny. Like they're self-aware. I might get the Battle of Trioc Field print. This is a guard character. It's probably my favorite guard art piece. I mean, I like some of the new art pieces, like Cadia Stands in the cover of the book. Cadia Stand. But that's the Imperial Guard art piece where you have Creed in the background standing on top of a Chimera.
Yeah.
With his color sergeant and another banner dude in the foreground running, and they're charging forward with some normal guardsmen, and there's some Kasserkin stormtroopers charging up with them, and they got all the ships and Titans in the background.
Yeah.
I like that print.
The other one
I like that art piece in general.
Yeah, I like the other one with the scorpions, and you can see the bastions in the background and everything, attacking Imperial Guard, or is it Tau? I can't remember, but yeah, it's another good art piece. The classic art is really what I gravitate towards, just because I'm
old. I really
old.
like the classic art too. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff that really kind of captured the imagination back then, It was cool.
There is one art piece I wish they had. And it's, Lord, I had the mini. It took me years, because I didn't get it when it went OOP, because at the time I was too young and stupid to order shit online, so if it wasn't sold in my store, I didn't care. Lord Solar Macarius.
Yep.
I finally got his model a month ago. I was finally able to find somebody parting with it for not a ridiculously dumb price.
Oh, really? That's a good find.
Yeah. It was barely more than retail.
Right.
I think it was just some guy who was either getting out of the hobby or he just wanted, something different. So he was getting rid of stuff, and I was like, I will take that off of you.
Right.
And he threw out a number, and I was like, deal. But
sold.
I want a print of. I have the books, and I really like the books, and I like the character because he's basically Alexander the Great, but in space.
Right.
It's him standing on top of the front of a Baneblade with his sword up in the air, kind of rallying his troops.
Yeah. For
the battle, because all huddled around him, he's giving this big speech. I just really like that art piece.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna say he was a good guy, but he out of 40K standards, he was a more heroic, decent fellow, if that makes sense.
It doesn't. I like the story in the second edition Imperial Guard Codex, where it basically describes, you know, his exploits, and it tells like the story of like basically him in conquering basically his little crusade on the little sector space that he's in.
I forget what the sector space it was, but
yeah. Well, because I always thought it was interesting in that story, they describe him basically being hung up, trying to conquer this one particular world, and it was humans. He was trying to reintegrate them into the Imperium, and they were holding him off. And all they describe it is that they're using hyper technology, and they're holding him off. And so basically, he is sending wave upon wave of people into a meat grinder to just basically wear them down, and they don't finally surrender until he starts using mass drivers.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool. I mean, it sounds, you know, brutal, of course, but, you know,
makes for 40k, everything's brutal.
Yeah, it's
he isn't out exploding planets, so he gets a little bit of credit there.
Well, he kind of is.
Kind of, but he isn't going like, you said something bad, now I'm going to nuke your planet.
Right.
He's not, you know, Inquisitor levels of, you know, robotic human being.
Inquisitor level of genocide?
Yes. He's only like, join my empire, or I'll make you join my empire with my sword. And a bajillion guys behind me.
Yeah, I always thought that one was interesting because in my mind, for whatever reason, when I read that, it sounded more like basically a world of humans where they're kind of Star Trek levels of technology. And they're, you know what I mean? And so it's this advanced culture of humans, and they're basically being put down by the Imperium using just basic brute force of the Imperium, right? Because the Imperium is just dark age of technology, right? It's just primitive shit.
I mean, there were, I guess. I don't know if they're still around anymore. They could be dead. They could have just all died during Horus Heresy. Because, like, during Horus Heresy, there were Imperial Army regiments with slightly better tech than your average guardsman. But just like everything that during the Dark Age of technology, you know, eventually all that stuff, you know, either broke, it got lost, or was destroyed some way or another.
Yeah.
Because I think it's in Legion, the Imperial soldiers fighting in that book have some kind of like synth suit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's Legion. There's one of the Horus Heresy books, like the Imperial, because they're not the Guard yet,
right.
Imperial Army regiment fighting in that book. In one of the books, I think it's Legion, is wearing synth suits, and it's not a spoiler because the guy says he's wearing like a synth suit in like the first paragraph.
So no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I can't say the same.
But, and in 30k, there are rules when making your Imperial Militia / Imperial Army. There are rules that upgrades your whole army in some way. Like I think it's like Relics of the Dark Age. Lore-wise, it's like your planet, you know, was able to save some of its technology over, you know, the hundreds of years of being, you know, isolated in the, I forget what they call it in the lore when like all the planets lost contact with each other.
Age of Apostate. Apostate or Postable? Or is that the Age of Strife?
Age of Strife. That'd be Age of Strife. Age of Apostasy is when the fake church in 40k came up. The Age of Strife happened, and they were just able to cling on to whatever technology they had, you know, over the, you know, hundreds or thousands of years.
Yeah.
And so all your guard regiment would have like better armor, better equipment, but you could only take, you know, you had to take grenadiers as opposed to normal infantry squads.
Right.
To represent that, you know, your world's regiment has better equipment. And the tax you pay for it is you have to field smaller squads. Which makes sense because, you know, your planet that's been able to hold on to crap, some technology that at the time before the Age of Strife might have been mundane or kind of average, is now like you're basically holding, I guess, as far as like the Imperium's concerned, you're holding like holy relics. I like stuff like that. Yeah, but no, I just kind of like them because he's basically at like his in the books. It's not really a spoiler. I guess it might be a spoiler. I don't know. Like his dudes would morale was high. His even the standard guardsman was like highly motivated, ready to fight. Kind of like because he's literally Alexander the Great and he's a charismatic dude. He might be an Imperial commander willing to waste 1 million lives trying to take a planet. But he might care a little bit more than the other guys.
Right.
So, it is basically his army's ready to follow him to the ends of the galaxy. So they followed him to the end of the galaxy. They got to the end of the galaxy. They didn't want to go any further because they didn't know what was outside the galaxy. Just like how Alexander the Great's army, towards the end of his expansion of his little empire, he had the, I don't remember what the mutinies was called, but it was basically like all the Macedonians wanted to go back home. Or they didn't want to go any further. They felt like they conquered enough. Whereas Alexander the Great was like, no, we gotta keep going.
Old Man Logan. Hey there, Chris. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Old Man Logan. What's happening?
I might have also liked them in the books because in his book trilogy, because he was one of the few times like a book was centered around a guard character, and the guard character wasn't just a bystander or never won his fight, I guess you could say.
Right.
It's one of the few times where, because everybody likes Space Marines, reads their Space Marine novel, their Space Marine always wins. Most guard novels, it's like super dark, depressing, like, my whole platoon's dead, I'm the only survivor, missing a leg. Whereas this one, it's like, he achieves his goal, he wins his little crusade, and he wants more glory, he wants to go out, just like, yeah.
Well, I think the Gaunt's Ghosts, they do a pretty good job for guard.
No, Gaunt's Ghost is good too, but I read this before I read Gaunt's Ghost.
Right.
So,
because Gaunt's Ghosts,
I'm more attached to this book trilogy than I am Gaunt's Ghost, but Gaunt's Ghost is also pretty good.
Because Gaunt's Ghosts, like, that just proves Imperial Guard can take on Space Marines.
Because my first Imperial Guard book was 15 hours. And
It took you 15 hours to read it?
No. I would say spoiler alert. I don't know. This book has been out for almost 20 years. And if you haven't read it, I'm assuming you're not going to read it because it was one of those little books. Like the physically small books that GW used to make in paperback. Not a novella, it was a full novel, but it was like the physically small, like, travel books. It's called 15 Hours because it was like during a war on the planet against orcs, where guardsmen's life expectancy on the planet's surface was 15 hours.
Gotcha. That's
and
cool.
The whole book is following this one character who half of his regiment is massacred on the drop. So their ship lands, the gates open, and it's basically D-Day, and half of them die.
Nice.
And then it's just him following. He's a replacement, meaning that he's replacing a dude that died. For those that didn't click with the word replacement. And basically, he's told by the quartermaster, like, why is he issued such shitty equipment? And it's like, because we don't expect you to live more than 15 hours. And this whole book takes place over 15 hours. 15 hours, okay? Spoiler alert. Close your ears. Not really a spoiler because most guard books end this way. The character dies. But the shining moment of this character, his greatest achievement was he lasted longer than 15 hours. He lasted like 16. As he's dying, he's looking at like the 40K version of a watch, and he's like, I lasted longer than they said I would. I was like, this is the dumbest book I've ever read. It's very salty, and I don't care about spoiling it, because in my opinion, even though I think it shows the guard in its true light on like how guard is portrayed in the lore, i.e. they are just kind of like this big wave of expendable dudes. It's just not a good book to read. It's just one of those things where it's like, I guess, too faithful to the lore. But yeah, no, I like Gonskis. Gonskis is a good guard book.
They're just good 40K novels.
Oh yeah, it's just a good 40K novel in general.
I like Abnett's writing.
Alright, so Chris, here's a test. You get $3, okay? $3 to give to somebody, or recommend or whatever, to get them into the full grasp, or as close to a full grasp of the lore in 40K slash 30K, so like both. You get $3 to try and cover as many bases as you can. And they have to be good books.
Well, good is subjective.
Can't be like, read the rule book.
Only 3 books to get somebody into 40K?
That, or kind of like, they're kind of in the 40K, but they want, to learn a little bit more. And yeah, nowadays you can go look at the wiki, but let's imagine that technology hasn't progressed past like the 90s, and you still have to get everything from books. You get 3 books to recommend to somebody. 40K slash 30K lore to get them into the universe beyond the, the grim darkness of the far future. What 3 books would they be?
Well, I haven't read every book, but...
Well, just the books you've read, or books you know about.
I don't know, like... I've always found, well, it was Inquisitor. Inquisitor is one of the first places I would go to introduce somebody into 40K, because that story would make it a great movie, because it hits all the different beats of Warhammer 40,000 being told by an Inquisitor and an assassin and, well, a dwarf, a squat. And, their journey, they go through the webway, they end up on crazy-ass worlds, all sorts of craziness. It's a fun story, but it's not a comedy. It's one book, although they did break it up into 2, but yeah. Probably Gaunt's Ghosts. Just if I'm picking a favorite, it would have to be Necropolis, because that one is all about this big wicked siege of a hive world.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it introduces you to concepts like chaos and all that, right? So
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, another fun one I suppose would be like the Uriel Ventress ones. Nightbringer. I liked Nightbringer. That was a good one. Yeah, that's about it, I guess. Let me see. Let me have a look at what's on my shelf here. Dan Abnett's Titanicus is a good one, too. Oh, the Gav Thorpe one. Kill Team. Kill Team's another fun one. That one's another fun one. Kill Team, or what was the second one called? What was the second one called? I can't remember what the second one is called. It's Kill Team and something else. I don't know how many Kill Team books there are, but yeah. Yeah, that'd be it. Something like that.
Yeah. Coleman says he would the Eisenhorn series, and that's what a lot of people recommend. Me personally, I would start off with The Master of Mankind from the Horus Heresy series. And my reasoning behind that is you get insight into the Emperor, you're introduced to Chaos, you're semi on a tangent introduced to Eldar, because of the part of the webway that the Emperor occupied to build his little projects. It takes place just before the Siege of Terra. You're introduced into Custodes and Space Marines' attitudes towards each other and normal folks. You're introduced to Knight houses. You're introduced to Guard regiments. I said you're introduced to Chaos, but you're introduced to both forms of Chaos, both mortal and demon. Then I would recommend, or then you're also introduced to the Primarch.
Now, see, the thing is that introducing somebody to 40k by introducing them to 30k, I don't think is the right way to go.
See, a lot of people say that, but a lot of what goes on in 40k is because of what happened in 30k.
Right, but it holds less gravity for somebody who's entering. Learning, like, it's like if you were watching Star Wars, would you start them at episode 1 or episode 4? I'm asking you.
Do I want them to watch all 6 movies, or do I want to watch 3?
All 6.
If I was to go watch all 6 movies.
Right, but would you start them at episode 1 or episode 4?
2.
Hello.
I don't know. 1 because I watched them in order. That's just me.
No, see, you should start them at 4. The original release. And that's why I wouldn't recommend starting anybody off into 40k with the Horus Heresy. Because the history has no gravity without the context of how it affects in the modern time. The significance is lost. And same with Star Wars. The significance is lost if you start at episode 1, because it also destroys the plot reveal of Luke being the son of Vader, because that's a big bombshell kind of moment. And if you start somebody off at episode 1, they already know that, and so that scene has no gravity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you would recommend, what's that order called?
The Machete Order.
Machete Order.
Yeah. I would recommend that. In fact, how I often recommend people to get into, people who would not watch Star Wars, I often recommend 4-5, then 2-3, and then 6. That's the order in which to watch them. Episode 1 can be left out. It's more auxiliary. It's fluff. And then of course the 7, 8, 9s, they don't really follow the story arc really.
And then the other 2 books I would recommend would be Wrath of Iron, which is set in 40k. You're introduced to Space Marines as they are in their current iteration. You're introduced to the Guard, to the Mechanicus, to Chaos, to the Inquisition. Well, I guess more specifically the Assassin Temples. I don't know if they're technically Inquisition or not.
Yeah, like I think with getting somebody into Warhammer 40,000, yeah, you have to get them into the whole dire situation of humanity in the 41st millennium, right? So you have to present them with all the Necron type of crazy crap, Tyranid crazy crap, right? Chaos crazy crap.
Third book would be the Death Watch anthology, only because there's so many Xenos races.
Sure. I mean,
that,
again, I mean,
I'm
like,
gonna be honest, a lot of the Xenos books not that great.
well, I'm still finishing the Eldar trilogy.
I mean, there's some good ones. It's just that like, not there's a few good ones and then a lot of not really good ones.
I don't know. I can't state an opinion on that because I've not read everything. But yeah.
So I say the Death Watch anthology only because you get your main quote unquote heroes, the Space Marines of the universe, and then through all the various short stories in the anthology, you're introduced to other alien races.
And oftentimes, I think with trying to get somebody into Warhammer 40,000, I find that it probably is best just to give them like a brief overview of all the silliness is really the shit that they throw into the rulebook.
Well, that's what I would say. That is the supreme get started.
Yeah.
But that's not a satisfactory answer for a lot of people.
No, because nobody's going to spend $80 on that big ass book that they're only going to use 1/10 of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're more than likely going to turn somebody off if that's the case. But yeah, it is quite a bit. Now, arguably, you could also come at it from another direction. The books you can get them into is Starship Troopers, Dune, and Foundation. If you wanted to really get somebody into Warhammer 40,000, make them read those books. What's happening, Barfin Sheep?
Yeah, I'm stuffing my face.
Sweet.
With
Stuffing.
healthy shit.
Oh, I thought we were gonna have some fun there.
With healthy shit.
Healthy shit, no less. All right.
Yeah, I
Way to be a killjoy.
didn't get the chance to eat today, so I'm doing it now. It's been a long day.
Yeah, you had your game today, eh?
Yes.
I trust it was a good session.
It was. There were no deaths.
Oh, that's boring.
And I got to use the little... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just saying, I'm back. I had a phone call.
I got to use the little tomb dwarf.
Oh, the little fella you
one
painted up?
Hmm?
The one that you painted up?
Yeah.
Cool.
But going back to the book thing, you could also tailor, to get to the lore by like going, well, what faction do you like? And just show them pictures of the factions. Just like...
Right, and I mean, that would be pointing somebody to the rulebook.
Yep.
Right, because the rulebook has all that information.
Mm-hmm.
To get somebody into 40K. But yeah, did you hear my response to what alternate 3 books I would recommend?
Well, alternate 3. No, I didn't hear that. I was on the phone.
Oh. I said Starship Troopers,
Yes.
Dune,
Yes.
and Foundation.
Yes.
Read those 3 and you'll get into 40K.
I mean, it is true.
If you like orcs, you could just watch Mad Max.
And just watch Mad Max.
The only thing missing from 40K is the fact that it seems Space Marines don't chomp on cigars and kill dudes in bars.
Right, yeah.
That's a Starship Troopers reference for people who've read that book.
Sadly, I've not read it, but I've seen the movies plenty of times.
The movies are nothing like the book.
I know.
If you've seen Roughnecks, which was like the cartoon semi-targeted towards like older kids, that is closer to the book. Because in the books, they are power armored. I don't want to say super soldiers because I don't remember if they're genetically enhanced or anything, but they're trained to such an acute degree that one dude in a bar goes in the spoiler alert for people. Well, I already said it. One dude goes in the super killer mode and kills a whole bunch of dudes in a bar with his bare hands.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember him going to super killer mode and clearing the freaking room. They also have scenes where like their power armor that they're wearing is so heavy that their power armor is like I guess more equivalent to like it'd be like Space Marine power armor I guess because
like Terminator armor.
Yeah, they can roll over on like bugs and kill them. Yeah. They're literally wearing tanks. I think that book's a good read. I read it in high school. I had to do a book report on it for my literature class because I took advanced literature in high school, and then decided that when I went to college I wasn't going to do anything literature related, so that was like waste of time.
Nice.
It's amazing that at the age of 18 they want you to decide what you want to do for your life.
Yep.
And like most people for like 5-10 years might do that or try and pursue that, and they realize this is what they want to fucking do.
Yep. No, because schooling as in its current form is not about preparing you for living a good life. It's about preparing you for the workforce.
I was gonna say preparing you to take tests to go to college.
That too.
Because at least in the U.S., like a lot of school was geared just towards taking freaking tests.
Yeah.
I haven't read Dune though. I haven't watched any movies. I've watched the old movies. Dune I haven't read.
Do it, man.
It's the only 2 of the 3. It was kind of hard for me to read something if I've already watched a movie. Like with Lord of the Rings. I mean, I know there's like more stuff in the book and stuff's changed in movies a lot. But,
sometimes.
Sometimes. Like Starship Troopers isn't the same thing as the book, so I would think if you've watched a movie, it's worth giving the book a read.
Yeah.
But like things like Lord of the Rings, I tried reading the book, and it's a slog.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
it's a good book, but it's a slog.
It is, definitely.
It's very heavy, yeah.
Yeah, it's. Oof. It's a tough go, doing.
I don't want to say it's not a bad book because it's a good book.
Sure.
It's just it's going to tell you what color belt Frodo's wearing that day.
Yes.
Today, Frodo has picked the brown leather double stitched with the brass buckle.
Yeah, there is an imbalance between world building and storytelling,
Yeah.
but it's all good anyway.
Well, it's good. It's just a slog.
Well, like one book that I read after seeing the movie was Predator 2. I know, really challenging film. I get it. And the book was a pretty easy read. It's made for teens, right? So anyway, I read it way back in the day.
Book, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a screen adaptation novel of Predator 2.
Okay, so the movie came out, then they wrote a book.
Yeah, the movie came out and then the book came out. But I found the book really, really interesting, and it was a nice complement to the film, and in fact added contextual details to situations that you may have missed while watching the film. Like, for example, how basically the predator, because you get the predator's perspective in the book as well, and the predator is really pissed off at, I can't remember what Danny Glover's character's name is, but anyway, he's really pissed off at him because he feels dishonored because the human, the prey, removed his mask. And so he's actually kind of dreading returning to the rest of the predators because he has this slight on his honor. And then of course, as that scene plays out, he's getting further and further dishonored by Danny Glover's character. And so by the time he reaches the ship, he's kind of like in total shame, even though he's got to return back to his ship because he's getting his ass kicked. It's just interesting. It's just like that kind of perspective into, these scenes, giving it, another layer, as it were. I realize it's not a, very challenging kind of, idea, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but it's not like it's, Shakespeare in the fucking park here or anything like that, but, it's just interesting. That's all.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, if you can find that
It's
one.
a good thing.
Yeah,
I had the same experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had the same experience with the book movie thing, but I cannot, for the love of me, remember what it was. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I read that book probably a year or so after Predator 2 had come out. I saw Predator 2 in the theater, and then it was like a year or so later, and I was watching it on VHS, and then I'd seen some advert for the book, the novelization of it. And I was like, oh shit, I'll give it a read. And I don't know why I read it, but I read it, and I was like, yeah, this is really cool. This adds like a couple layers into the movie that, when you rewatch it after having read the book, again, it just makes these scenes play out a little bit more, with a little bit more depth,
Yeah. You have more context.
Yeah. Just makes it more interesting. It is not terribly warm in my office, but my wet powder is like curling up on me. I'm going to add some water to it. Some rusty water.
Wait.
Wait, what?
I never put two and two together, but is the Predator and Predator 2 the same Predator from Predator 1?
No.
Oh, okay.
Unless the predators can resurrect. Because that mofo died.
Predator 2, because I wanted to find the name of the character you're talking about.
Danny Glover's character? Yeah, I can't remember what the hell his name is.
The name of it. Yeah, I was just sitting there. His character's name was Harrigan.
Harrigan, yeah, Lieutenant Harrigan, I think. Or was it
No, it was just like, because it mentions the recent being a decade earlier in Central America. But I think that's just referencing the predator, as in like the alien species.
Yeah.
Having
The
been
Yelp
active hunting humans through sports.
Yeah.
Sport hunting humans throughout conflict. And it just mentions a decade earlier in Central America. When you click on it, it takes the first player movie. But I think it's just like they acknowledge that there's more than one of these aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
There's plenty.
Yeah, it's a whole civilization of these sons of bitches, right?
No, I mean like the character, like the human characters in a movie, like acknowledging the fact that there are quite a few of these aliens running around hunting humans for sport.
Yeah.
Does anybody else sometimes get a craving for junk food that you really shouldn't have?
Of course.
So I'm sitting here like I could go for some McDonald's chicken nuggets with sweet and sour sauce.
Do it, man.
I don't know. I think it's more the sweet and sour sauce. I don't know why I like it.
I've only tried McDonald's, but there's one burger that I really want to try, and that is In-N-Out.
Uh-oh.
I'm not saying don't try it, but I'm gonna say if you're really hyping this burger up, you're gonna be disappointed.
I can't even. There's no In-N-Out here.
No, I know there's none in Norway. I'm just saying, like, if you ever come to the U.S. and go out for an In-N-Out burger, I hope your expectations aren't super high.
No.
In-N-Out's big thing is just the price. That's their big thing. It's a decent burger for a really, really good price.
Basically, he's telling you, don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you just happen to be in a city that if you ever visit the U.S. and you happen to be in a city that has an In-N-Out, yeah, sure, fine. But don't be one of those people that travels somewhere specifically for it. And I've now pissed off, a good section of California. Because that's all I talk about.
If I ever go over there, I am going to Canada first. Sorry. So I need myself some Tim Hortons just to check.
People make a big deal about Tim Hortons coffee. I don't get it. I live here. I've been surrounded by it. I used to drink Tim Hortons coffee, but I seriously don't get the big deal about it. Now, a lot of people have explained to me that Tim Hortons coffee used to be really good, but then Tim Hortons was bought out by the same company that
McDonald's.
No, McDonald's doesn't own Tim Hortons. Burger King.
No, I thought it was
It's the big conglomerate that owns Burger King and like Wendy's, and they bought Tim Hortons, and then they switched where they get their coffee from, and in fact the people that Tim Hortons used to get their coffee from, they don't because of the Burger King and Wendy's connection, and so McDonald's started buying up their coffee that Tim Hortons used to get, and so actually that's why McDonald's coffee now is better than Tim Hortons coffee.
That's where McDonald's came in. I thought it was the conglomerate that owns McDonald's, but no, they swooped in to get the coffee because I think they got the old Tim Hortons coffee somehow.
Yeah, so Mickey D's in Canada and probably the U.S., the coffee is what used to be Tim Hortons coffee, and what Tim Hortons coffee is, which is complete shite, is
what Burger King has.
Is what Burger King does. Tim Hortons is overrated, is my point.
Right. You Canadians, we took your Timmy's coffee.
Well, Timmy's are in the States as well.
I know, there's like a handful.
Yeah.
There's actually one in Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland.
Oh, yeah?
They don't know why. Because it's like the furthest one from Canada by like a good distance. I'm guessing Aberdeen gets a lot of Canadians.
Probably.
I guess because it's on the base. I believe it's on the base. So I would imagine that might be because, like how like countries trade soldiers on like kind of like schools, like
Yep.
do exchanges.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Aberdeen at some point just had like a lot of Canadians for some reason.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me.
Because there at least was or still is a Timmy in Aberdeen for some reason.
We have U.S. soldiers over there for winter training every once in a while.
Well, they're all over Europe. So.
Yeah, Americans train wherever, right? Some might argue train wherever they want, but
It is true. Sometimes you do get to pick your deployment. And a lot of people like to go to Korea and Japan.
because there are a lot of waifus in the military, or what?
It's just those are apparently really good bases to go to if you're in the military. They have like a lot of like creature comforts. Because in the U.S., for those who are not geographically inclined, the U.S. is fairly big, and all the military bases are out in the middle of nowhere. So you can't go anywhere to do anything because you're like a good, couple hundred miles from civilization. That is why most military, like U.S. overseas bases, are like miniature cities.
Yeah, there's one in Belgium that's really large.
Because it's just the U.S. mentality of when we were still building bases inside our own borders, they were just so far away from everywhere that they literally had to be little cities. And the reason why Japan and Korea are picked as like a deployment is because the bases are actually like in the cities in some cases, and so they can actually go do stuff. So they can have basically a government funded, get paid to go on vacation pretty much. I mean, you still got to do your job, but then whenever you don't get to do your job, you can like go off base and have vacation.
You serve?
No, but
No?
I have a lot of friends who do, and they said that's why they would always go. If they got the option to pick Japan or Korea, that's why they went.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a lot of family in the military as well.
I did not serve in that capacity. I decided I wanted to be a firefighter, and then after three, 4 years, I decided that because most fire departments in the U.S. are volunteer, so I was being a firefighter for basically free. I decided that I needed, a proper job with money.
Right.
And so I didn't do that anymore.
Now, is that why a lot of firefighters strip on the side?
They what? Oh, strip on the side? Maybe.
Is that why they rely heavily on the
Is that
calendar?
why they strip on the side and rely heavily on calendar sales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
My service ends in 2 weeks.
you're a firefighter?
Nope, military service.
Oh, okay. Are you
In 2 weeks, I'm gonna be delivering all my gear
delivering it where?
to a depot.
Over there.
Over there.
Delivering it back to the army,
Oh, okay.
or the National Guard / army.
How long were you in?
I've been since 2012.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had 1 year mandatory service, and then it's National Guard after that. So you can get called back.
Right.
Which I were. So I did my non-com training or education. Just because, okay, if you still want me here, I want more money and more stuff to do.
And so did they agree, or did they just say, okay, well,
Oh
see you
yeah,
later?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting discharged because of health reasons.
Okay.
But my long-term goal was to be what do you call it? Like a it's not a platoon, above platoon. What's a regiment? No, not
Company.
regiment. How fuck? What is that
Company would
again?
be above platoon. Company.
Company, yeah, a company commander. That was my end goal. So I got to squad leader, and I was just going to do training for like next in command in platoon, and then move on to platoon lead.
That's cool.
Then my body just went nah, none for you, sir.
No, eh?
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yep. But it's great fun. Really get to test yourself on everything.
Sometimes the mind is willing, but the body is not.
Yeah.
The body is bruised and spongy, but the spirit is
My
willing.
mind is telling me yes.
I had snoo.
See, I got a chronic disease that renders me fatigued most of the time.
And see, when I'm hitting the chronic, I usually feel fatigued.
I was waiting for something like that.
I know. I shouldn't be making light of the guy's situation, but here I am.
I make light of the situation. It's the only thing you can do when you're stuck with shit for life.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just Chris. What comes with Chris? I was like waiting for it. I was like, he's gonna say something. When's it coming?
He's gonna say something stupid. Here it comes. Yeah, right on cue. The stupidity ensues. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm an ass. I'm really kind of amazed anybody tunes in for this shit.
Well,
because most the people that can tune in can take a joke, I guess.
yeah, we're here, aren't we?
That one guy. He's not around anymore.
Which one are we talking about? Buddy who recently disappeared?
Yeah, the buddy who recently disappeared.
Oh, yeah. I tried.
Couldn't take a joke. Couldn't take anything. It's like, okay, buddy.
I tried. I extended as much patience as I could.
Now, that being said, there was a point in time when I was like, well, I could try and become a paid firefighter. But then I realized that one of my side passions, blacksmithing, being a farrier pays like double.
Good.
So,
I also do forging.
Like signatures?
No. Like fucking swords.
Oh!
I want to grab this Space Marine, okay? I'm going to grab this fine-tipped Sharpie and forge Chris's signature on it and sell it on eBay.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get fuck all for that.
In some circles, maybe.
Maybe.
No, man, I got a forge.
Cool. What sort of shit you make?
Knives, swords, hair nails, or hair. What you call them? Hair pins.
Hair pins. Cool. Well, feel free to share your efforts there, man, because I'd like to see some of your shit.
Oh, I have. I've got a new phone, so I have no pictures of it, but I can just take new ones.
Sure. I'd like to see it. I mean, that goes for everybody out there. Feel free to share your work, whatever you're passionate about, man.
Whatever I'm passionate about.
Yeah, well, because I mean, like, how many times have I shared something from some crazy asshole who's taking, 1 million Lego blocks and wants to build, an actual Mercedes or something like that, right?
If I go fishing, can I take pictures?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, man. I'll see. Oh, I'll look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but yeah, in the U.S., a horseshoer makes a lot more. Like a starting out horseshoer makes a lot more than a starting out firefighter, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm so impressed by farriers.
As much as I like firefighting, it's just like I have bills to pay, got mouths to feed. Ain't nothing in this world for free.
I knew that was coming.
Ain't no rest for the trigger.
Yeah, I fucking could smell that one coming a mile away, bud. It's good though. It was good. That was good. My mouth was open.
You're a legit farrier. You make horseshoes.
No, I'm going to school for it eventually.
Awesome.
Trying to get an apprenticeship at a local place, but COVID is.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I do have blacksmithing experience.
Cool.
I have to get a new forge. I'm probably gonna get a coal forge. I still have all my tools downstairs in a box in a garage somewhere.
Well, yeah, you guys.
I'm excited.
Yeah, feel free to share you guys ever. That goes for both of you. I mean, yeah. I like to see that shit. Because, like, I follow, like, a few blacksmiths. Because blacksmithing to me is interesting as shit as well. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you guys are into that, man, shit. Share it.
Hell yeah. I might just take a little trip to the forge tomorrow and I'll take some pictures.
Yeah. Please. I would be very impressed by that. I'm always impressed by shit people can do that I can't. So yeah, I'm an easy audience in that regard.
Easy one.
Yeah, I'm easily impressed by shit that people do that I don't do. So yeah.
But I mean, if you take an interest in other people's things, that's amazing. That's an ability in its own.
I guess, but yeah, I know. I find it all fascinating. I mean, like I used to do machine work in a machine shop and everything like that, and I tune in for some guys working on lathes and stuff like that, wood lathing and steel lathing, and it's all fascinating to me. I miss it sometimes, doing that kind of shit.
So, how long have you been blacksmithing, Boop?
As a side hobby, off and on for. I have to bring up a year calendar. I have to remember when I went to middle school.
So it's been more than a year?
Yeah, longer than years.
Ooh.
Carry the one. Some numbers humor for everybody out there.
Off and on since 2007.
Whoa.
I had to do math. I had to figure out when I was in middle school.
Good God.
Because
man.
in middle school, I was throughout middle school and high school, throughout my schooling in general, I was the last year that home economics was taught, that like shop class was held, etc.
Right.
So my shop class had a blacksmithing segment, and I just been off and on doing that. Off and on. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So not consistently for 13 years, but off and on.
No, but you really don't. It's like riding a bike. You don't really forget how steel moves.
The riddle of steel?
Yeah, the riddle of steel. I think I'm pushing a year this month. So I haven't been doing it for long, but I've been very passionate about it, very eager to learn.
That one English kid, Alex Steele. I watch his videos.
Yeah.
I used to watch his videos a lot, but then he moved to the States, and then I kind of just stopped tuning in because he was just doing kind of all sorts of stuff. And then he had that other kid on there, and I was whatever. But I still have him subscribed and everything like that. But yeah. Now I say English kid. I don't know if he's actually English or he's Welsh or what have you. But yeah.
He's not North American.
No.
He's not North American.
He is.
He's
He's from the UK.
He's some sort of foreigner.
He sure ain't one of us.
You don't speak no American.
Yeah. Now everybody from the UK who's in the channel probably just tuned out. It's like this fucking
What,
guy.
like all two of them?
Yeah, all two of them.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, okay, look, most of your viewership, Canadians and Americans, okay, and then there are some Europeans, but they all seem to be from Norway.
Hey.
or Scandinavia in general.
Well, there was for a while there was a few German kids that tuned in fairly often. They sent emails and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a while since I've heard from any of them.
If we're going to be honest, yeah, it's mostly North Americans and then Scandinavian and then token Irish. Like there's like one or two Irish.
What's token Irish? What's token Irish? Or do you mean like token?
Token as in very small amount.
Or do you mean token as in their token?
I don't know. Tolkien.
Tolkien? They're Tolkien English?
Tolkien.
They're Tolkien?
I meant token as in like an amount. It's like a very small.
So token, not token.
Yeah, the T word that means not a lot, very small.
Gotcha.
There's like one or two.
Gotcha.
And one of them's pretty wild, but we haven't heard from him in a while.
Which one's that?
You know which one. The crazy one.
They're all fucking crazy.
Oh,
what the
you
hell?
know which one I'm talking about.
Who dat? Who's that? Little Happy Bunny. Following. Thank you. Thank you, little Happy Bunny. Happy Bunny.
See, talking about your demographics and people that watch your stream gets you a follow.
Does it? Is that the secret to it? Yeah.
See, now we were talking bad. No, we weren't really talking about bad about the English, but we were saying that they are a very small section of your community, and that we probably scared all two of them away.
I don't know. Like, I don't have a questionnaires of where everybody's from, so I can't really say.
Monkey questionnaire.
Yeah, a monkey questionnaire. Where are you all from?
You do have quite a few people from the UK. I just like making the joke that like all two of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's only about two that are pretty vocal about everything, but that's about it. Not vocal, but like, who communicate.
Active. Well, active, yeah. But I wasn't like saying that there is two. It's the joke where, you say something disparaging about like Space Marine players. It's like, think of a Space Marine chapter. And, Imperial Fists are stupid. And it's like, oh, wow. You just offended all two Imperial Fists.
Right.
That's what I meant. But no, you have a couple of. In fact, I think the guy who won your monkey shirt, where he had the monkey shirt on the Rhino at Warhammer World. Somebody had like a competition about that.
Yeah.
Or was it on the Space Marine? It was something at Warhammer World. Space Marine lady had to put the monkey shirt on it.
Yeah, that was John.
Yeah.
Because John lives one town over. I got to hang out with him when I went over there. It was really cool.
I am all out of pallid wood's flesh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What we gonna do?
Get more.
Or
Mix.
there we go.
Mix and blend.
Yep.
What are we talking? Just get more.
Or just get more.
Just get more. Make it
Or
easy.
just get
Easy
more.
button. Add it to your cart.
Or just get more.
Mixing is a skill that's going to be made redundant with all the freaking stupid paint lines now.
Oh man.
It's sooner or later there'll be enough. I mean, there's probably a paint company out there that has like, all the freaking hues covered.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, like house paint, they have all the different between all different brands and companies and crap. They probably have like all the hues, all the colors of the spectrum covered. Eventually, we'll hit that point. We will hit that point with miniature paints. There'll be so many independent miniature paint lines that all the hues will be covered, and mixing will be made redundant.
I think that'd be okay. I think we win in the end in that scenario.
The only person who has to know how to mix paint is the guy making the paint. That's about it.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like, if unfortunately though, for example, Citadel makes 70 colors, a particular shade, to go along with their color schemes, and then Vallejo makes 70 colors that are color matched to those colors, and then Army Painter makes, 70 colors and they're color matched. So like we got 3 companies all doing the same colors, and that is the problem.
No, I agree with you. I was just getting at, like there's just so many freaking hobby paint lines.
Yeah, and I think it would be really cool if there was people willing to take a chance to do something different. For example, I'm sure.
Turbo Door.
Exactly. There we go.
Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah.
I'll show for you. That way I'm saying it and you're not. I get in trouble if somebody buys it. That's like
Well, you're not gonna get in trouble, but you know what I mean. Like,
I take the heat.
Yeah.
I am the Turbo Torch. Turbo Door. Buy the pink color. It's the best.
But yeah, we win in that instance as consumers and painters. If the companies all just started doing something a little bit different from each other.
And with that, oh, by the way, you're OT.
Huh? Oh, fuck yeah, I am. Son of a bitch.
I'm gonna check out for dinner.
Oh, you're bailing. With the quickness he dives out. You see that?
No, it's your time. I have to actually try and cook before I have to cook and get dinner set out and stuff in less than 20 minutes. So I'll see you guys
later, dude.
Bye.
But yeah, we are OT. Any parting words of wisdom?
If you stick your dick in Tracy, make sure she doesn't have knives.
There we go. That's it right there.
Yep. There you go. There you have it.
That's some fucking wisdom for your ass right there. Unfortunately, where were you 30 years ago for me?
Hey?
I said, where were you 30 years ago for me?
30 years ago, I was born.
God damn it. All right. Well, we didn't quite get her done, but I think I'm going to continue farting around with her. I might come back on later. I might just do this in private. I don't know. It all depends what kind of mood I'm in. Oh, wait, it is Friday, though. Yeah, I might be doing shit. Family time. So, anywho, any comments here? Kim, both Vallejo Model Color and AK Interactive 3 Gen have both almost 300 colors in the main lines. Combine that with other hobby brands, and I think we have all the tones covered. Right, but if they all have 300 colors and they're all color matched to emulate somebody else's paint line, do we have 300 colors, or do we have, 3, 4, 500 colors, all of the same value of red, right? Like, do we win? Are we winning? In that regards, I don't know. Anywho, Kim also says, shave your nuts. Metal. Yeah, I have no other bits of wisdom. I'm out. I'm out. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to all my patrons. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in the patrons chat only. And, of course, everybody who was leaving comments in the chat as well. And I'll see you guys later. Maybe. Possibly. That's it. I don't know. I got nothing else.
No, sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Dun 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 dun. Did you watch Dune?
No.
No.
But I've been speaking of it today.
Oh, because there's a really great scene in it where they show the Soda car, and they have like this chant that they're doing. It sounds like Mongolian throat singing, and
that's what we talked about today.
Yeah. I
did some throat singing for them, and they fucking freaked out.
I was going to try and do that here at the end. I was going to, whoa, I can't do the throat singing. So
yeah, I think my noise gate will cut it out if I try.